I have over 25,000 followers on X, and today I had them send me some of their tweets for me to roast, and my God, I have a lot of bad ones to show you. And if you don't know me, my name's Marcos, and at our agency, we've generated over 10 billion views and $10 million for our clients on X alone. And today, not only am I going to roast these tweets, but I'm going to be breaking them down, giving actionable insights and frameworks that you can implement, and showing you exactly how me and my team make our clients go viral on command. So if you're looking to grow on X, this video is for you. So this morning I put out a tweet saying, I want to fix and audit your tweets, and I had a bunch of my followers link their tweets below. So I'm gonna pick out a bunch, we're gonna go through them and break them down. So we have a tweet here. Why was this video an outlier? Here's my brief breakdown. Title captures a broad audience, both beginners and established business owners who want an easy content strategy and or millions. It's extremely well made. Education mixed with the vlog, using a lot of cinematic shots, matches the packaging. This type of video also makes you want to binge his channel, which is also a good sign for you to keep pushing it. So I have a couple of things here. The main things here is that there's a ton of value, and it's actually written well in a way that's very readable. Short, snappy sentences, all lowercase, super casual, very value driven. But the main issues are in the first line, which is the hook, and in the last line, which is the closer. In this hook, it's just not strong enough to lure in the ICP of this person. So instead of why is this video an outlier, you should start with some sort of specific number or really big attention capture, just like YouTube. For example, instead of why was this video an outlier, I'm looking at this image and it says 178,000 views. So I might say this video did 178,000 views in 30 days. And that would be a really good hook, just like a YouTube title. And this is the only line in the entire tweet that would actually have a big specific number. So that'd be another way to just capture attention and actually retain that attention throughout. And then at the end, it says, this type of video also makes you want to binge his channel, which is also a good sign for YouTube to keep pushing it. So instead of that, I would actually finish with some sort of learning lesson for the reader. So I would say something like, you need to make your videos bingeable. And that would actually drive it home and get people to scroll down and then leave a comment or a like. So would make the hook and closer more hard hitting. For example, hook. This video did 178,000 views in 30 days. Closer. You need to make your videos bingeable. Send. Okay, so pulling up the next tweet here. This is an actual long form tweet, so it's really well put together. Viral threads killed my client's brand. They grew to 1,000+ followers through threads, but it destroyed their reach. Every post after that was stuck at 20 views. Here's how we rebuilt their account from scratch. Stop chasing virality, It goes into a bunch of really good, highly valuable storytelling. Result, 200 followers a week. He'll likely scale to 500 followers next month. Our process works because it's proof focused. We're building your brand. Works as a funnel. So there's a little bit of typo. Every single piece of content either attracts, nurtures, and converts. Printing winners here. So the main thing I see here is actually the hook's really good. The retention's solid. It's highly valuable. One thing I'll say is that this long form is really talking at the reader. It's not actually being valuable to the reader. So for example, at the end here, it says, our process works. We're building you a brand. Every single piece of content attracts, nurtures, and converts, and we're printing winners. But it doesn't actually have some sort of roundup closer that's giving value and wrapping up that value like a gift for the reader. So how I would rewrite this is I would rewrite the closing sentence to again wrap up and deliver the value to the reader. For example, instead of saying we're building you a brand that works as a funnel, I would say build a brand that works as a funnel. So you're actually telling the reader what to do and how to apply this value. And the next tweet we have here was actually a reply to one of our newsletters. If you want, you can subscribe in the link below and you can send some of your tweets and you might have a chance to be featured in a future video. It's completely free. We do weekly newsletters with tons of value on how to grow on Twitter, LinkedIn, and make money and a bunch of cool stuff like that. Again, subscribe in the link below. So with this person's tweet here, it says, I tried Gemini 3 for a huge academic report and it fell on its face. Even Claude and Grok couldn't do it correctly. Kimmy 2 with a little greater than sign. So just looking at this person's profile, they only have about 300 followers. And this is a really decent commentary tweet if you have a bunch of followers that you're already talking to. But when you're in the early stages of your personal brand, you need to really focus on driving value that's going to attract new followers and engagement. So for example, instead of saying you just tried it and that Claude and Grok couldn't do it correctly and that Kimmy 2 did it correctly, I would actually show why Kimmy 2 did it correctly and compare the Gemini 3 output with the Kimmy 2 output, and then compare compare the Claude and Grok output to the Kimi 2 output and drive it home, and then maybe even give a resource to people and showing them how to do it with this AI called Kimi 2. I personally don't even know what Kimi 2 was, and if I saw this on my timeline, I might be interested and actually try to ask for the resource or engage or something like that, because it's this new unconventional wisdom on the timeline. Okay, so we got another tweet here. It says, it's the biggest reason people burn out with content and quit is because they don't post with intent. So of course, there's a typo in the hook. That's the first thing I would fix. They never look at their data and they never know what to improve. Write down your top posts, study what people respond to, plan your next batch using that data, then repeat. Your workload will drop and your posts will get better. This is actually a really good post apart from the typo in the hook. The main thing is, if you listen to how I actually read it, I had already read that middle portion with the actionable insight and the actionable framework in a list format. So I would just turn that actionable insight into a list. For example, I would just copy paste this. I would add bullet points using Option 8 on my keyboard, and I would turn this into a highly readable list for the viewer to implement. Not only does this make it more readable, but it actually makes it bookmarkable and something that they're ready to implement right away with a 3-step process. So I would just make the body more readable since it's basically a list already, and fix the typo in the hook. Okay, so the next tweet we have here says, 20 minutes before the call, the DM hit. This is way above what I imagined. Prospect gone, ghosted for a minute. I was disappointed. And it goes into a story about how he lost a prospect. And then it switches into an actionable insight. Next time you're in a tight spot, ask yourself, if someone paid me to coach a guy in this exact situation, what would I tell him? Then go do that thing. Because apparently we're way better at giving ourselves advice than we pretend we're talking to someone else. Human psychology is weird like that. This is actually a tweet I wouldn't change anything. And just looking at this person's profile, they have about 300 followers and they got about 300 plus views and a handful of likes and some replies. That's a very good ratio. If you ever get the same amount of views as you have followers, you can consider that a highly successful tweet. And you want to make sure that you're giving yourself a positive feedback loop when things are working well. So again, this is a good tweet and I have nothing to change on this. Okay, we have one more good tweet here. It says, we live in an identity economy, not attention economy. People don't follow creators, they follow characters with edges, contradictions, beliefs worth fighting for. Your content doesn't need to be better, your identity needs to be louder. This is another really great tweet, but of course I have a really good improvement for this one. This actually leaves the reader at a little bit of a cliffhanger. You're telling them that their content doesn't need to be better, their identity needs to be louder, but they want to know how their identity can get louder. So one thing I would do here is lead into a long form explanation of how they can actually make their identity louder instead of their content better, and give them some actionable insight. And what that will allow this tweet to do is really have people follow you because you're giving an unconventional wisdom in a highly valuable tweet that they haven't really been able to find somewhere else. So for this one, would add a transition that leads into a value-based framework on how to make their identity louder. And so those are some actionable insights you can think about before pressing send on your next tweet. And as always, if you're looking for more valuable insights on how to grow on X fast, subscribe to the newsletter in the link below. I appreciate you watching. See you in the next one.